the Southern Ohio Farm Show. This is Gigi Neal of OSU Extension in Claremont County, Agricultural and Natural Resources Educator.
I'm James Morris, the Agricultural and Natural Resources and Community Development Educator for the Ohio State University Extension in Brown County.
And I'm Brooke Beam, the Ohio State University Extension Educator for Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Community Development in Highland County. And we will be your hosts for the Southern Ohio Farm Show.
We are on our quest to get our turkey ready for Thanksgiving. It is that time of year, it's turkey time. So we have thawed it in the refrigerator I've had it in there for a good 5 days, thawing. It is nice and loose right now. If it hadn't been that way, what would need to do is put it in cold water and flip it to get it thawed completely. So here we go. We would many times be doing this at the sink, but I want you to be able to see. So, and I know sometimes it's difficult. So here we go. Take off our netting, and then our next item is that we're going to clip, and this is when you really do need those shears, and see the liquid popping out, and I knew that would happen. So, and normally we would be at a sink, but here I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to just drain it. All right, now the directions are telling us today not to rinse our bird in the sink before we cook it, so we don't have cross-contamination. One thing we did do here, what I did do earlier, was make sure my counter was sanitized, and did that. We have a 15-pound turkey here. Well, it's actually almost 15. It's like a half an ounce short. And so we are going to open it up like you would open it up, all right? So here we go. This is what it looks like when you open the bag up. And I know a lot of individuals haven't done a turkey because they think that it's a little bit intimidating. It's really one of my favorite items to do. Oh, whoa. Okay, we're gonna clean it all up here, but remember we're gonna work on not cross-contaminating. Now let me turn this thing around, the bird around a little bit here. So something that you'll find, and many times in the frozen one, is that thermometer that's already in here. Now, research is kind of showing that they work, but they don't always work super. So we're going to kind of use it, but then when it gets the time that we do cook it, we will double check it. All right, now, but that's what that is. Now they usually have the legs with a plastic item. You pull it apart, all right, and then we're going to lift well, in this case, this is the rump. And so I really normally don't like that myself. So I kind of cut it away. And then inside you will also find the turkey gravy, all right, that they have for us. Many times there's extra fat in here. And I tell you what, I just try to cut some of that fat away. Again, the shears are super for doing this. All right, also in here, we are going to find a neck. All right, and we're also going to find, oh, there's a piece of ice. We'll get rid of that. Let's see what else we find in here. We should find some more things in here, but we're not finding them. So sometimes they're not all there. Sometimes there's a heart in there. And the giblets, and I don't understand. I'm just going to drain. I'm draining here. I would be maybe at my sink, but I'm going to then, wash this towel and sanitize it. So we've got that accomplished. Now there will be a piece of, oh, here it is. Here's our giblets. See what I mean? We have to really dig around in here. It was hiding up on top under this where the neck had been cut off. All right, so we've got all those items. All right, so nice and cleaned out. All right, now our next step, we're going to be using a cooking bag. All right, cooking bags. We're going to be using cooking bags. And the reason I like those is because you get a nice moist bird with it. Now, if you would be brining your turkey, you would then rinse it, but we're not doing that. So that's the reason why we're not brining it. All right, now the next item I like to do is to, and I got my spoon out over here, is to loosen the skin on top here. And then I like to, you see that stack of fresh herbs there? They really add a lot of flavoring to it. So I'm taking this between the meat and the skin, and I'm opening it up, is what I'm doing right here now. All right, just making a place where I can put some fresh herbs. So what I have here is fresh sage, all right? So put some of that in here so we can get some flavoring. And then we add some fresh, took everything fresh that we had that was still alive. So we have the sage, and we had some fresh oregano. We have some, I'm gonna wait and put the rosemary in near the end here. And then one thing I really like to put quite a bit of is thyme. So these are all fresh herbs that I have. You could use your dried herbs too. This just looks really nice when you take it out also. So step it up with these. All right. Put those guys all in here. All right, then my next item that I have here is I have some salt and pepper. All right, now I took a tablespoon of salt, and I'm not going to put the whole tablespoon inside here, but inside the cavity I'm going to sprinkle salt, and then also add a teaspoon of pepper, and I'm going to do about a half of that inside. Okay, and then we're going to put the rest on top. All right, let me get a few more. I really enjoy these, so got to get them in here as much as I can. All right. Okay, there we go. Now, you know what I am going to do is take this wet item off of here because most of it's drained at this point. All right, now we have our bag, and the directions, you'll have a nice set of directions that come with the cooking bags. And you only use the cooking bags when you put this in an oven. Okay. Alrighty. Well, our turkey has been cooking for 2 hours, actually 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, I did check it at 2 hours, and the pop-up one is popped up, and then I wanted to make sure it was at least 165 because remember, they're not always real accurate. Wait, I'm hitting bone. I don't want to hit bone. Here I go. Okay. I want to make sure it is at least 165. And let's wait just a second here. Okay, we are ready. Okay, so we're nice and safe with that. And then we have our turkey in the bag. I'm going to just let it cool for just a second here while I talk about the gravy. So remember we removed the giblets and the packet and the neck. Well, when I put the turkey in the oven, I went ahead and started simmering these, so I can now have my liquid for my gravy. What I'm going to do with this when we're getting finished, I'm going to take it and sieve it and then save it and put it in the refrigerator so that then the fat will come to the top. All right, so I can remove that because I want to go as low fat as I can. Alrighty, now the other good point about doing this, and I need some assistance with this, because another good point about the bag is that if we clip the bag, and I'm going to ask my assistant to clip the bag, I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to tilt and then have her do a cut, and so we can get our broth and from our turkey. We'll have all those great flavorings in it. So this is a piece I really like about using the bag, because I get to do this an easier way. Okay, so it's dripping. Can you see any more to move it around? Just so. Okay, great. All right, so that we have that. Just a little more. All right, thank you, Assistant Kelly.
Got it all.
We had to go get our 4-H educator so she could help out. All right, thank you. Now we are ready to remove the bag. And it's great to have these shears, and we can look at our turkey here. All right. Come on. So let's take a look at how nice that looks after we have that finished. Remember, we had the apple. There's our apple. It's kind of popped out a little bit here. We had our apple on one end and then the other end. So we're ready now to pull this out. And I thought, well, let me do something else first. Okay, let's do this first. Let's go ahead and look at the top here. Remember how we had put those herbs on the top? Okay, let's take a look at what we have here. All right, they've added all that nice flavor to it, and I'm going to peel back the skin, and you can see them there. All right, remember we put them inside here. Okay, in the neck cavity. And then see how nicely the skin falls off of it. Isn't that super? And our legs are nice and soft and able to move them. All righty. Now, wanted to show you one more thing, and that before we finish and we take this all apart, you should let this rest for about 20 minutes before when we take it out of the oven, which helps us with this carving piece. So, and I always like to take the breast off, all right, like this. And then, let me move my leg over here. I try to make as little mess as I possibly can because I don't like to clean up a lot. Makes it easier for the cleanup. So we can take our breast off, cut it, and lift it up. And I have a little plate over there. Assistant Kelly, would you please help and bring that over? Thank you. Let's see if I can get it up. Oh, I still have a spot there. And so take our breast off and we put it down here, and we can then slice it very nicely. I wanted to show that. Let's hope my knife is sharp here. All right. And so as I get to the little bit larger, I can get nicer slices. All right. So that is our turkey. And we're going to dispose of this way. We can remove the skin so it's a little bit healthier. And let's take a look at our drippings from there. You can kind of see, I think if Gigi moves up there, you'll see the fat rising to the top. And I can remove that and then use the drippings there. And that to make some gravy. And I can do the same thing with what I have here for my giblets and make giblet gravy. So, that's our turkey for the holidays. Many times I do take the apple off and I do slice it on the side also and have that too. So that is our turkey made the safe way. Cook it in a bag and look how nice cleanup's going to be. Isn't that lovely, that cleanup? Okay, everyone, enjoy your turkey during the holidays. And I'm here to demonstrate a mashed cauliflower recipe that you can use for this holiday season in place of your mashed potatoes. Well, we're going to give it a try. Alrighty, well the recipe, you can either use fresh cauliflower or buy the frozen, and it calls for 2 12-ounce bags of frozen cauliflower, and then you would cook them in your microwave and have it that way. Well, I chose to get the fresh cauliflower. Now, in your recipe, it will tell you how you can cook it, and I steamed this. And I did use the colander, so this is what it looks like. Now, then, I was just going to show you a little bit. We're going to take some of the stems off of them because the stems are a little hard to use. So I have most of the cauliflower already taken care of, but we're going to take the large stem pieces and put them in our waste bowl, or you could use that as your vegetables to make a soup and use the stems. I many times use the stems from broccoli and from cauliflower to make my base for a soup. Alrighty, so we want to kind of get the flowerets. Alright, okay, there we go. We have those and they're cooked and ready, and we have our other bowl here aside. All right, so we have our cauliflower ready with that. The next thing we need to do is we're going to flavor it with some garlic. So a tablespoon of, I've got olive oil here, and then I'm using some of the garlic that is already pre-chopped. If I had it, I would use the one that I have already, okay? And then we like garlic at our house, so about a teaspoon equals a clove. And so I'm going to do 2 teaspoons because my family likes garlic, all right? And so that just needs to saute for a few minutes, and it will cook quickly, I believe. We'll let it go here for a few minutes here. Okay, now let's go back with the rest of the ingredients. So some of the other ingredients we're using are Neufchâtel reduced fat cream cheese, and so that goes in here, as well as Parmesan cheese, and 1/4 of a cup of that to a 1/2 a cup. A little heavy 1/4 is nice. And then for our topping, we're going to use some chives from the garden that are still out there from the garden. All right, we're sizzling here now. So we're gonna let this go for a few minutes so we release the flavor as we saute our garlic. All right, and we've got a little tinge of color to it. So we're gonna go ahead and use that, and in with the cauliflower that has been cooked. Oh, gotta turn the burner off. Okay, and then the cream cheese, and there's a measuring device on there for 2 tablespoons. And so we have that. Okay, our Parmesan cheese on top of that. And then it calls for a half a teaspoon of salt. So a half a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to put a fourth of a teaspoon of, because I've made this before and it needs a little bit more pepper. So the recipe calls for an eighth. All right, now we're ready to mash it. All right, so we're going to do that now. I'm going to mash this together, and I put it in a small bowl so you could see me do this. And I don't know if I made an error there. Many times it's easier to do it in a larger bowl. So you're going to mix it up and smash it with a potato. I call it a potato masher, but others might call it a different name. You could also use your blender, or not your blender, but your mixer to make it finer. So the finer would make it more of a mashed rather than a mixed. And I didn't do a good job in trying it with this particular bowl. I'm not getting a good mix with it. So here's what's going to happen here, because I'm having trouble, all right? So we're going to put it in this bowl so I can do a better job mashing it, all right? Let's do that. I was trying to have it so that you all could see what I was doing. All right, so now I can do a better job on it, put the elbow grease on it, and get it mixed and mashed. All right, now we're in a few minutes when we kind of get it finished up here. Why are we doing this? All right, why am I using cauliflower to make a mashed cauliflower instead of the kind of more traditional mashed potato? Well, we're doing that because we reduce the amount of carbohydrates by quite a bit. I'm going to show you in a few minutes a place where you can look at, get some ideas about what kind of nutrients are in fruits and vegetables that you can use in your home. All right, the more I mash, the finer it will get. So, and then when you get to the point where you like what you have for your family, then we're ready to put it in our serving dish. Oops, I'll turn it around this way so you can see what I'm doing. Put it in our serving dish. And we have our mashed cauliflower. All right, there we go. And then we have, on our fairgrounds this year, we have had a community garden that our master gardeners have made. And we have some chives that were left, or they're still out there. They didn't get frozen. They survive a little bit better. And so then we have a really nice looking plate of mashed cauliflower. Now the item I was telling you about that I find really helpful, and is I have a card here that has fruits on one side and vegetables on the other. And when I move the wheel, if I look at cauliflower, I bring it to selection. It gives me an idea about how I select one. I store and handle it, and then I have all the nutrients here. And so the total carbs in this are 2.9 in a half a cup serving, all right? Now if I move my wheel and move it to the potato, which is normally what we many times have, our mashed potatoes. It's kind of traditional. So again, the potato, and then one small one, or like a half a cup, and all in that one we've got 24 carbs. So you can see it's a massive reduction. There was only a tablespoon of the oil here, and I used olive oil. And then we have our cauliflower, and then our low-fat cream cheese. So we have really been able to reduce the amount of carbs in this, but we have a lovely dish for the holiday. So let's give it a try, see if you like it, and then enjoy your holiday season. Thank you.
For a Thanksgiving treat, this week we're going to make chocolate-covered strawberries that look like turkeys. First, you want to start out by washing your strawberries. Then you want to take your melting chocolates and put them in a bowl that you can use to melt, whether that's on the stove with water under the bowl or in a microwave. Then you'll take a marshmallow, and you want to take a pair of scissors and cut your marshmallow diagonally, and that's going to make the turkey wings. So you take each of the marshmallows and dip them into chocolate, and that will help them hold onto the strawberry. So here you can see I'm applying one of the marshmallows to the strawberry, and that's going to make the wing shape once you dip the whole strawberry into chocolate. So it's better if you can let all of these pieces that you're adding dry a little bit before you finish covering your marshmallows and your strawberries all in chocolate. So you'll take this pretzel stick and you're going to put 2 marshmallows onto the pretzel stick. So I took one small straight pretzel stick and just broke it in half, and then you put 2 marshmallows on there, and that's going to make your drumstick for the turkey. So once you have your marshmallows onto the pretzel and they're the shape that you like, you can dip those into chocolate. And then before you put the turkey legs on, you want to dip the strawberry into the chocolate so that way it is entirely covered. And then you can set all of your chocolate covered strawberries on wax paper, and that will help once they harden and dry, they can come off very easily. So here I'm making the last turkey leg. And then dipping them into chocolate. And you want to make sure that you cover the entire marshmallow with the chocolate. You can shake off the excess chocolate, and then you just place that on your strawberry for the legs to make your turkey. And then you can repeat this for however many turkeys that you want to make. So here's the final product of a few of the turkeys that I made, and it's a fun project and also makes for a really sweet dessert that you can enjoy.